The Galactic Academy floated in orbit above a blue-green planet. It was a place where young cadets from many worlds came to learn. The Academy was famous for teaching unity, teamwork, and the dream of peace across the stars. But even in such a place, prejudice could still live quietly in the hearts of students. Lyra, a cadet from the planet Thalvana, walked through the wide halls with her head lowered. Her tall figure and silver-blue skin drew attention, but it was not her appearance that set her apart. It was her scent. A natural fragrance surrounded her, like damp soil after heavy rain. To her people, it was normal. To others, it was strange, even unpleasant. In the cafeteria, rows of long tables were filled with cadets from dozens of species. Loud voices echoed, laughter carried across the hall, and trays of colorful alien food clattered against plates. But one spot always remained empty, the seat next to Lyra. She sat alone, quietly eating her meal. Her plate contained nutrient roots from her homeworld, boiled and seasoned. She kept her eyes on her food, pretending not to notice the empty space beside her. She had stopped hoping anyone would sit there. Every day she told herself it didn't matter. Every day it still hurt. Across the room, a group of cadets whispered. A tall insectoid clicked his mandibles. "How can she stand her own smell?" he muttered. A scaled reptilian leaned closer, flicking his tongue in the air. "It's heavy, damp, wrong. No wonder no one goes near her." Lyra heard them. She always heard. Her hearing was sharper than most. But she didn't turn her head. She had learned that showing sadness only gave others more reason to mock. So she swallowed quietly and stared at her tray. The academy was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be a place where all species stood as equals, where differences were celebrated. But reality was not so simple. Even here, surrounded by stars, she was still an outcast. The door at the far end of the hall opened. A young human walked in. His hair was dark and his uniform slightly wrinkled, as though he had rushed from training. His name was Ethan Hale, a cadet from Earth. Humans were not the strongest species in the galaxy, nor the fastest, nor the most advanced. But they were known for their stubbornness, their strange courage, and their ability to see things differently. Ethan carried his tray, searching for a place to sit. Most tables were crowded with groups of cadets sitting together. Only one space was open, the empty seat beside Lyra. Many eyes followed him, waiting. Would he pass by like everyone else? Would he wrinkle his nose, mutter something under his breath, and choose another table? The whispers grew. But Ethan didn't hesitate. He walked straight to the empty seat and set his tray down. Lyra blinked in surprise. Her fork froze halfway to her mouth. She looked up, meeting his eyes. "Is this seat taken?" Ethan asked casually, his voice light. "No," Lyra said softly. Her voice was musical, though rarely heard by others. She expected him to change his mind once he sat down, but Ethan pulled out the chair and sat without pause. For a moment the scent reached him. He inhaled deeply, then smiled. "Smells like home." Lyra stared at him, stunned. "What?" she asked, almost afraid she had misheard. "Your scent," Ethan said, as though it were the simplest thing in the world. "It smells like earth after rain. My grandmother's garden. The soil when the storm clears. It's nice. Comforting." Her silver-blue eyes widened. No one had ever called it nice. No one had ever compared it to something beautiful. For so long she had only heard whispers of disgust. Now this human said it reminded him of home. Around them the cafeteria grew quieter. Cadets exchanged puzzled glances. Some looked annoyed, others simply confused. But Ethan didn't notice. He began eating as if sitting beside Lyra was the most natural choice. "You don't mind?" she asked carefully. "Mind?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Why would I mind? Everyone smells different. You should sit near the Koran after they've eaten spicy roots. Then you'll know what strong really is." For the first time in weeks, Lyra laughed. It was soft, uncertain, but it carried warmth. Ethan grinned, glad he had made her smile. They ate together in silence for a while. Lyra felt strange. She was still aware of the stairs, but they no longer cut as deeply. Someone had chosen to sit with her. Someone had defended her scent not as a curse, but as something familiar and good. As they finished, Ethan leaned back in his chair. "You know, I don't get it," he said. "This academy teaches unity, but everyone avoids you because of something natural. That's not unity, that's just fear." Lyra lowered her eyes. "My people are used to it," she said. "We are often avoided. Many think our scent is wrong. I thought maybe here it would be different. But it is the same." "Then we'll make it different," Ethan said firmly. "One step at a time, starting with this seat." Lyra looked at him, unsure how to respond. His words were simple, but his tone carried a weight she had not heard before. Determination, as if he truly believed change was possible. The bell rang, signaling the end of the meal break. Cadets rose from their tables, trays clattering as they were carried away. Lyra expected Ethan to leave quickly, maybe to avoid more whispers. Instead, he walked beside her out of the cafeteria. As they moved through the hallway, she felt something new. The space around her didn't feel as empty anymore. His presence beside her made her scent feel less like a barrier and more like a shield. That night, in her small dorm room, Lyra lay awake, thinking of his words. "Smells like home." She repeated them again and again. For the first time since she had arrived at the academy, her chest felt lighter. Perhaps she was not as alone as she thought. And somewhere in the halls, Ethan sat with a small smile, remembering the garden on earth, the scent of wet earth after rain, and the way Lyra's eyes had brightened when he spoke. He didn't know yet what it meant, but he knew one thing: he would sit beside her again tomorrow. The next morning, the Galactic Academy hummed with activity. Cadets from all over the galaxy practiced drills, attended lectures, and prepared for field exercises. The Academy's floating corridors were filled with the clatter of boots, the rustle of uniforms, and the chatter of dozens of languages. Lyra moved through the hall with a small, cautious smile. She still felt the usual stares and whispers, but something had shifted. Yesterday, a human had sat beside her. That simple act made her feel lighter. In the training yard, cadets were divided into teams for exercises designed to test agility, strategy, and cooperation. Lyra's group was paired with Ethan's. She kept her distance at first, unsure how the others would react to him. But Ethan walked right up beside her. "You ready?" he asked, adjusting the straps on his training pack. Lyra nodded. "I think so." The instructor, a tall, armored alien with copper skin, barked out commands. "You will navigate the obstacle course as a team. Speed is important, but coordination is more. Fail to cooperate and you fail the exercise. Begin." The cadets dashed forward. Some ran carelessly, bumping into each other. Others froze, unsure of the terrain. Lyra moved carefully, her long legs carrying her swiftly over uneven ground. Her senses were sharper than most. She could detect hidden pressure plates and balance beams that wobbled beneath weak supports. Ethan matched her stride, not just keeping pace, but watching her. He noticed how her eyes scanned the course, how her body moved with precision. "Lead the way," he said, stepping beside her. They moved through the obstacles together. When one cadet slipped on a narrow bridge, Lyra reached out instinctively, steadying him. Ethan smiled at the teamwork, never letting the other's doubts affect his trust in her. Halfway through, a squad from another team approached a tricky area filled with swinging platforms and unstable beams. Many cadets hesitated. Some whispered, "We can't follow her. Her scent is strange. She moves too differently." Ethan ignored them. "Follow me and Lyra," he said firmly. "She knows the path." The others looked uncertain but followed. Lyra guided them carefully, her instincts sharp. They crossed the platform successfully, reaching solid ground with minimal trouble. Some of the cadets stared, surprised. They had expected chaos, but Lyra's guidance had been precise, almost effortless. After the exercise, the teams gathered around the instructor. "Well done," he said, scanning the cadets. "Teamwork has improved. Some of you showed leadership and some learned what it means to follow." His gaze lingered on Lyra and Ethan. "And some have learned to trust what they once ignored." "Good." Whispers followed them afterward. "She's capable," said one cadet grudgingly. "I didn't think she could do it." Another muttered, "Humans are strange, but maybe not all are blind." Ethan laughed quietly, shaking his head. "Don't worry about them. Let them stare. They'll learn." Lyra felt a warmth spread through her chest. For the first time, she felt like someone truly believed in her, not just her abilities, but her value as a person. Later in the library, Ethan and Lyra sat together at a long, glowing table. They pored over maps and holographic simulations of alien worlds, studying navigation and survival tactics. Lyra showed him techniques from her homeworld, how her species could sense vibrations in the soil, detect air currents, and read subtle changes in light that revealed hidden hazards. "You're amazing," Ethan said, eyes wide. "No sensors on Earth can match your instincts. No human could do what you just did today." Lyra looked down, uncomfortable with praise. I just know these things. It's what my people have learned over generations." I didn't tea. The Galactic Academy was quiet that morning, almost too quiet. Cadets moved through the halls, whispering and exchanging nervous glances. Something unusual had happened during the night. An alert had been issued. A predator from the alien biology labs had escaped containment in the lower sectors of the Academy. Though it was only a simulation exercise gone slightly wrong, the sense of danger was real. Lyra was finishing her breakfast in the dining hall when the alarm sounded. The low hum of the emergency siren vibrated through the walls. Cadets dropped trays and scrambled for the training yard. Ethan reached her side immediately. "Lyra, we have to move, now." She grabbed her pack and followed him, her senses already on high alert. Even before she saw it, she could sense the predator's presence. Her species had developed heightened senses for survival. She could detect subtle changes in air pressure, faint vibrations in the ground, and even the predator's faint scent lingering in the vents. Most cadets froze or ran in random directions. Panic spread quickly. Some of the larger species tried to scare the predator with loud noises, but it was quick, intelligent, and unpredictable. Chaos ruled the hallways. Ethan grabbed her hand. "Lead the way," he said, trusting her instincts completely. Lyra took a deep breath and nodded. For once, her gift, the very thing others had shunned, was going to save lives. She moved with purpose, guiding Ethan and a small group of cadets down narrow maintenance corridors. Her senses told her where the predator was lurking, and she adjusted their path to avoid it. "Left here and watch the vents above," she instructed quietly. The group followed her instructions, some reluctantly, some with growing admiration. A tall insectoid whispered, "I can't believe we're following her." Lyra ignored him, focusing entirely on the vibrations beneath her boots and the faint, damp scent trail the predator left. They reached a junction where the predator appeared suddenly. Its glowing eyes reflected off the metal walls, its long claws scraping the floor. Cadets screamed and scattered, but Lyra didn't falter. She had studied her species' defensive techniques for years. With a swift motion, she directed the group to press against the wall, stay low, and move silently. Ethan followed without hesitation, holding back his fear. He had always admired humans' courage, but watching Lyra in action gave him a new level of respect. "She knows exactly what she's doing," he whispered to another cadet. The predator circled, searching for movement. Lyra guided the team through a series of tight corridors, twisting and turning in patterns only she could sense were safe. Every step was calculated. Her knowledge of air currents and vibrations allowed them to stay one step ahead of the predator. "Over here," she whispered, pointing to a maintenance hatch above. The group climbed through, quiet as shadows. Behind them, the predator growled in frustration, unable to follow. Once they were safely on the other side, Lyra paused, catching her breath. She looked around at the cadets. Some were pale with fear, others stared at her in awe. The very scent that had made her an outcast, the damp, earthy aroma, now seemed to calm the group. Cadets who had whispered against her now relied on her senses, unconsciously trusting what they once avoided. Ethan smiled at her. See, difference is strength. Lyra felt a strange warmth. This was the first time her natural abilities had not only been appreciated, but had saved lives. She had never felt so useful, so powerful. The Predator continued its patrol, now cornered in the lower labs by instructors trying to contain it. Lyra and Ethan guided their group back toward the training yard, where reinforcements had arrived. Other cadets joined them, some cautiously following her lead. By the time they returned, instructors were calling roll. Cadets who had tried to hide were accounted for, thanks in large part to Lyra's guidance. "Exceptional work," the instructor said, his copper skin glinting in the overhead lights. "Cadet Lyra, your instincts and quick thinking saved several lives today. Cadet Ethan, your trust and courage ensured others followed wisely. Well done." Some cadets were silent, clearly surprised. Others muttered approval. The ones who had mocked Lyra in the past shifted uneasily, unable to deny her effectiveness. The whispers of ridicule faded, replaced by murmurs of respect. Later, in the quiet of the Academy's gardens, Ethan and Lyra walked side by side. The gardens were peaceful with glowing plants and soft streams of water. Lyra still carried the tension of the morning in her shoulders, but there was pride there too. "You were incredible," Ethan said. "I've never seen anyone navigate a situation like that. Not even humans, and we're supposed to be survivors by nature." Lyra shook her head. "I just know these things. It's instinct. It's what my people have learned for generations. I never thought it would matter here." "It mattered," Ethan said firmly. "You saved lives. You proved that being different isn't a weakness, it's a gift. And I hope others start to see that too." Lyra smiled faintly. "I hope so." She paused, then asked quietly, "Do you think they'll ever accept me?" Ethan stopped and looked at her. "I think they will. It might take time. Some people are stubborn, but they saw today what you can do. That will change things. You just have to keep showing them." The two continued through the gardens, their footsteps quiet on the soft, glowing paths. For the first time, Lyra felt a sense of belonging. Not complete yet, but growing. She had Ethan who believed in her. And slowly, that belief was spreading. That evening, back in her dorm, Lyra reflected on the day. Her heart still pounded from the adrenaline of the Predator encounter, but it was mixed with a strange warmth. She realized something important. It wasn't just her abilities that made her valuable. It was the combination of courage, knowledge, and trust that allowed her to make a difference. She thought of the cadets who had doubted her, the insectoid who had whispered, the others who had turned away. They were watching now. And some were beginning to see her differently. It was small, but it was enough to give her hope. Ethan, somewhere down the hall, was writing notes for the next day's training. Lyra imagined him smiling, thinking of the exercise, of her abilities, of the calm way she had guided the group. He didn't see her as different in a negative way. He saw her as capable, brave, and necessary. And in that moment she realized something. One person's belief could change the world, even in a place as large as the Galactic Academy. The night passed, quiet and still. Stars glimmered beyond the Academy's walls. Lyra lay in her cot, thinking of the day's events, and for the first time she allowed herself to dream. Not just of acceptance, but of a future where her gifts and her scent were recognized as strengths, not flaws. And somewhere else in his own dorm, Ethan looked at the stars and thought the same thing. In trusting her, he had helped change the course of events. He didn't know yet how far it would go, but he knew that together, they could face anything. Tomorrow, the Academy would continue. New drills, new challenges, new doubts from some cadets. But Lyra felt ready. She had proven something important. Being different was not a weakness. It was power. And with someone who believed in her, that power could save lives and perhaps one day even change the galaxy. The days after the Predator incident were busy, yet tense. Lyra moved through the Galactic Academy with a quiet confidence that hadn't been there before. Cadets who had once whispered behind her back now approached her cautiously, some with curiosity, others with lingering suspicion. The cafeteria seat beside her was no longer empty. Some cadets still avoided it, but a few daring ones tested the waters, encouraged by Ethan's quiet example. Even so, Lyra felt the weight of being different. Her scent, once ignored or ridiculed, still made some cadets uncomfortable. And while she had gained allies, she realized that understanding her fully required more than simply sharing space. There were truths about her species that very few knew, and the Academy had kept certain records hidden. One afternoon, Ethan found her in the library studying navigation charts. Her silver blue eyes traced lines on the holographic map of a distant planet. He leaned over her shoulder, noticing the intensity of her focus. "You're quiet today," he observed.
Everything okay?
Lyra hesitated. "There's something you don't know about my people," she admitted. "Something important." Ethan tilted his head. "Tell me." She took a deep breath, her voice low. "Our scent? It's not just a natural odor. It carries signals, health, mood, even danger. Long ago, other species misunderstood us. They thought the scent was a sign of disease, weakness, something to fear. Entire worlds avoided my people. Families were separated. Our survival depended on hiding who we were. Many of us left home, wandering the galaxy in exile." Ethan listened silently, absorbing every word. "So that's why some cadets reacted the way they did," he said softly. "Because of fear, not malice?" "Yes," Lyra said. Her voice trembled slightly. "I thought coming here to the Academy it would be different, but some prejudice is hard to leave behind." Ethan put a hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone here. I believe in you, and I'll help others see the truth too." The sincerity in his words warmed Lyra's heart. For the first time, she felt that someone truly understood the weight she carried. And slowly she realized that trust and friendship could open doors where prejudice had once closed them. Later that day, the instructors called a meeting of senior cadets. They had been reviewing the events of the Dater incident annually. The Galactic Academy was buzzing with anticipation. Today was the final trial of the cadets, a simulation designed to test their abilities, teamwork, and courage under extreme conditions. Every cadet knew that success here could determine future assignments and recognition across the galaxy. For Lyra, it was more than just a test. It was an opportunity to prove that her difference was a strength, and that trust and teamwork could overcome fear. The trial began on a distant, simulated planet. Its rocky terrain stretched endlessly under artificial skies. Streams of water cut through valleys, and dense forests of metallic trees made visibility difficult. Instructors' holograms monitored the cadets, ready to intervene if danger became real. "Your mission," the lead instructor said, "is to rescue stranded civilians from a simulated colony. The area is unstable due to seismic activity and predator threats. You must work as a team. Individual heroics will not succeed. Begin." Cadets scattered into squads. Lyra's squad was mixed: humans, insectoids, reptiles, and a few smaller, timid species. Fear and doubt were obvious on the faces of some cadets. Many still whispered about her scent, but Ethan remained at her side, confident and calm. "Follow my lead," Lyra said quietly. "Stick together. Watch the ground and the air currents. Trust your instincts." They moved through the rocky terrain cautiously. Soon, tremors began to shake the ground. Rocks tumbled and some cadets stumbled. Panic threatened to spread, but Lyra's calm voice guided them. "Stay low. Hold on to each other. The path is to the left." Ethan helped smaller cadets keep their balance, praising those who faltered. The squad gradually fell into a rhythm, relying on Lyra's instincts and Ethan's encouragement. Suddenly, a group of predator drones emerged from the forest. They moved fast, hunting the cadets with precise mechanical efficiency. Many cadets froze, unsure how to react. "Move," Lyra shouted. "Follow me, watch the vibrations." Her heightened senses detected subtle shifts in the ground that warned her of traps and predator positions. She led the squad through hidden paths, signaling when to jump, duck, or turn. Some cadets hesitated, but Ethan's calm presence reassured them. One drone targeted a young insectoid cadet, pinning him near a boulder. Without hesitation, Lyra darted forward. She used her knowledge of balance and speed to create a distraction. Rocks tumbled toward the drone, forcing it to retreat. The cadet scrambled free, wide-eyed with gratitude. "See? We can do this together," Ethan said, giving him a reassuring pat. The squad continued through treacherous terrain, facing falling rocks, narrow bridges, and sudden predator attacks. At every obstacle, Lyra's instincts guided them. Her senses, once ridiculed, became invaluable. Cadets who had doubted her now followed her instructions without hesitation. Midway through the trial, they encountered the simulated colony. Holographic civilians awaited rescue, some trapped under rubble, others frightened and frozen. "We need to prioritize," Lyra instructed. "Smaller and weaker first. Use teamwork." Cadets divided naturally into groups under her guidance. Ethan helped coordinate their efforts, ensuring that each group moved efficiently. Lyra noticed the subtle fear in some cadets' eyes and used her calm voice to reassure them. "You can do this. Just trust your instincts like we practiced." Hours passed. The cadets worked tirelessly, navigating dangers, rescuing civilians, and overcoming obstacles. Lyra's leadership was seamless, her scent now a signal of calm and confidence rather than strangeness. Cadets who had mocked her before moved quickly to help, silently acknowledging her guidance. As the trial neared its climax, a sudden collapse of a cliffside blocked their main exit. Panic erupted. Cadets argued over which path to take. Some wanted to retreat. Others froze. Ethan looked to Lyra. "We can't go that way." "What do we do?" Lyra inhaled deeply, sensing vibrations through the ground. She noticed a small hidden passage partially covered by rubble. "Here!" she shouted, leading the group through the narrow path. The passage was tight and dark, but it was safe. One by one, the cadets followed, trusting her completely. The group emerged on solid ground. The simulated civilians were safe, the predators neutralized, and the path clear. Cadets cheered, some hugging each other, others collapsing from exhaustion. The instructor's holograms appeared. "Exceptional work," the lead instructor said. "Cadet Lyra, your instincts and leadership were critical to the success of this mission." "Cadet Ethan, your trust and support ensured your team followed effectively. This is a model of teamwork and unity." For the first time, Lyra felt a deep sense of pride. The squad looked at her with respect, admiration, and even awe. They no longer whispered about her scent. They no longer hesitated or avoided her. She had proven that difference could be power, that trust could overcome fear, and that courage could unite even the most diverse group. Later, as they rested near the Academy's gardens, Ethan turned to her. "You were amazing today. I knew you had it in you, but watching it, it's incredible." Lyra smiled, tired but happy. "I didn't do it alone. You kept everyone calm. You trusted me. And you saved lives because of who you are," Ethan replied. "Don't ever let anyone make you feel like that isn't important." Lyra's thoughts drifted to the cadets who had doubted her, the insectoid who had whispered, the timid, violet-skinned cadet. Today they had all learned a lesson she had known for years. Different is not wrong. It can be vital. That night she reflected on the day. The trial had been more than a test of skill. It had been a demonstration of unity, courage, and the strength of embracing differences. Her people's knowledge, her instincts, and even her scent, once a source of isolation, had become assets. She thought of the predator incident weeks before, the archives, and the lessons of her people. Each challenge had prepared her for this moment. She realized that being different was not a burden, it was a gift, and gifts, when shared with trust and courage, could change outcomes, save lives, and even shift the way others thought. Ethan appeared at the doorway of her dorm. "Hey," he said softly. "I just wanted to say, you did more than impress instructors today. You changed hearts, you changed minds, and maybe, little by little, you'll change the galaxy too." Lyra's chest swelled with emotion. "I hope so," she whispered. "I hope so." Together they walked to the Academy's observatory. The stars stretched endlessly above them, distant but shimmering with possibility. Lyra imagined her homeworld, her people, and the generations who had survived through trust, ingenuity, and resilience. She thought of the cadets who had doubted her, and those who had now begun to see her as she truly was. One day, she knew, the galaxy would recognize the value of differences, the strength in diversity, and the power of compassion, and she would be part of that change. For now, she allowed herself a rare moment of peace. She had faced fear, uncertainty, and doubt. She had led, guided, and inspired, and she had done it with someone who trusted her completely. Ethan looked at her, eyes reflecting the starlight. "You know," he said, smiling, "this is just the beginning." Lyra nodded. She believed him. The trials of the Academy were behind them, but the challenges of the galaxy were just ahead, and she felt ready. Stronger, braver, and more certain than ever that being different was a gift, and that gifts, when shared with courage and trust, could change everything. The sun rose over the Galactic Academy, painting the floating halls with golden light. Today was graduation day, the day every cadet had trained for, fought for, and hoped to remember. For Lyra, it was more than a ceremony. It was a moment to show that she was no longer an outcast. That she, her abilities, and even her scent were not weaknesses, but strengths. The main hall was packed with cadets, instructors, and guests from multiple worlds. Rows of seats stretched across the polished floor, filled with cheering families, curious aliens, and respected leaders. Lyra felt a flutter of nerves. After all the trials, the Predator incident, and the final survival test, she had proven herself. But would the galaxy truly recognize her? Ethan appeared at the edge of the hall, carrying his own notes and smiling as he spotted her. "Ready?" he asked. Lyra nodded, smoothing her uniform. "As ready as I'll ever be." The ceremony began. Holograms displayed the cadets' achievements, and instructors recited accomplishments with pride. When it came time to announce top cadets, Lyra's name appeared. The hall fell silent for a brief moment, then erupted into applause. Cadets who had once avoided her smiled awkwardly, some giving small nods of respect. Ethan clapped the loudest. "That's my friend," he whispered. When the graduates were asked to take their assigned seats, a hush fell over the hall. Everyone waited to see where Lyra would sit. For years, the seat beside her had been empty, avoided, ignored. But today was different. Ethan strode forward without hesitation. He pulled out the chair beside Lyra and sat down. "Looks like you've earned it," he said with a grin. Some cadets blinked in surprise. Others smiled quietly. Slowly, one by one, they began to follow his example. A small group of cadets from different species joined, and soon Lyra's row was no longer empty. She felt a warmth spread through her chest, a mix of pride, relief, and happiness. The lead instructor approached the podium. "Today we honor not only skill and courage, but the ability to unite diverse teams. Cadet Lyra has shown exceptional leadership, instinct, and courage. She represents the very best of Galactic Academy, a bridge between worlds, a